All right, guys. So we're back. We're finally in a podcast room that is under development. So it will get better every time you see it. Every time we post, hopefully with either be new additions or maybe changes to the lighting, or it's a work in progress. So you keyboard warriors, fuck off. We'll figure it out. Okay. So hopefully you guys can hear us. We're literally test run, and unfortunately, Kolin gets to be the test run. Sorry, buddy. So, tournament this weekend. How you feel about it?
Feel good as always. Going into a tournament the week of, I don't really feel as nervous. I don't know why, because I guess I would just put in the work, and getting with Doyle gets me right. So, I'm super excited for Saturday. I hope it happens. But if it doesn't, whatever. My game has developed these past 6 months, so now I just feel super, super confident going into jiu-jitsu matches. I don't feel super nervous, and having these skills that I've acquired these past 6 months, I feel like I can go to any jiu-jitsu tournament right now and dominate. Like at the last one, it was easy. I didn't even get gassed.
And you submitted everyone?
Yeah, everybody.
4 matches?
3 out of 3.
3 out of 3.
It's a piece of cake, and it's all because of what Doyle's telling me to do, and I'm doing it. I'm just listening. He tells me to do something, I do it.
See, that's Bushido code, guys. That's samurai code.
Yeah.
You do what your instructor tells you to do. You don't question it. Don't ask why. And if you're asking why, you probably got the wrong guy with you, or you don't belong in the ring. Or on the mat, for that matter. I grew up with a lot of guys doing this for a long time. And there were a lot of cats that we did exactly what our coaches said to do, and we did really well.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of cats that we worked with who questioned everything and didn't believe in certain things. And those are the guys that you saw just, drown. They just couldn't do it. So, part of your routine, your morning routine, from what I understand, is ice bath, run at the beach, and then you're here in the gym by 5-ish.
Yep.
Which, by the way, it is like 5:15 in the morning. So, just so y'all know. And then you do your pyramid workout, which I still have a hard time fucking remembering. So, explain that.
All right. So, my alarm is set for 3:45. I wake up at 3:50. I start turning on that ice bath. I get the ice from the freezer. I pour that bitch in. And then I sit in that bath for, I think, 6 minutes. Yeah, 6 minutes. And then I cold plunge all the way under. And then I get up. And I feel fucking great after. It feels like, I don't know, I feel like brand new. I feel like, I don't know, I'm not tired whatsoever once I get in that cold water. I feel fresh. My body feels good. I just don't know what the fuck it is about it. But it gets you feeling good. So, after that ice bath, I go and head to the beach. And then I start my run at Strands. And then I run all the way down to Salt Creek. And I run all the way back on that fucking super soft sand. And
Distance-wise, what is that?
it's 4 miles total.
Sheesh.
But, it's 4 miles almost every day. And I sprint up the big hill on the way back. And I just go after it. And then that's always a good run. And then after that run, I come straight here. I drank my Celsius. And I go and do my workout pyramid. So my workout pyramid goes up to 12, and it's a pyramid of multiples of 2, 4, 6, 3, 6, 9, 4, 8, 12, 5, 10, 15. So it goes 2 pull-ups, 4 push-ups, 6 sit-ups, and then 3 pull-ups, 6 push-ups, 9 sit-ups, and then 4, 8, 12, 5, 10, 15, 6, 12, 18, and it goes all the way up to 10, 20, 30, but I go up to 12, 24, 36. And then once you get to that number, you break it back down. So you go all the way back down to set 2. And like total, that's like 150 pull-ups, 200 or 300 push-ups, and then I do about like 600 sit-ups. I add a lot of sit-ups to each set. And Doyle makes me do these side planks in between each set. So I'm balancing out my core. And then hopefully after that, I'm going to start, training with Logan when he gets here, because I don't start work till later now, which works out perfectly. You know, hopefully me and him can do something big in the MMA industry. Before he goes off to Thailand, we can get some work in.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he comes back, he'll...
And just to go back to this pyramid thing, guys, this isn't like a 5-minute workout. He's here for a couple of hours.
Yeah, it takes a good 2 hours.
Yeah, this is daily. I see this daily. I literally watch it. So for some of you who are going to question me, like, no, he doesn't, I watch him do it. And for a lot of members who come to the morning classes and kind of see this stuff, and they always see him in the corner over there sitting on the floor with the mats, that's what he's doing. So if you ever question, like, what the hell is this kid doing?
Yeah.
He's trying to become better than everybody else. That's what he's trying to do.
I need to.
You know what I mean? So that's the kind of work. When I say Bushido code and your coaches do this, that's what I mean. So for most of you guys already know, Jason Bress and Noi were my two coaches, but Jason Bress being my main one and my first one. And I remember I saw him hitting a bag. He's like 145 pounds. He's like, a little guy. And I was like, man, if I could kick like that at my weight, I'd be a monster. I want to do that. So I asked him how to kick like that. And he literally just looks over and goes, 500 kicks, man. 500 kicks a leg, that'll do it. I thought, okay. So I start going to the back and I just start kicking, practice. Because I didn't pivot very well. And he walks over, he's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm on like kick 200 and something, I think. And he's like, what? And I was like, you said 500 kicks a leg. I could eventually kick like you. He's like, no, you idiot. I just meant practice. Like, I didn't literally mean go do 500 kicks. But I took it as, hey, you say do this be like this, and I'll do it. Right? I'm not an expert in fighting, Yeah. He is. He's the world champion, not me. So I was listening and doing what my coach told me to do. And I think a lot of what I've seen now over the past 25 years is there's a lot of questioning, man. A lot of people, there's a lot of feelings. I think a lot of the world is at right now. Like, oh, I feel like, and I feel like, and I think a lot of people feel too much. You need to cut the feelings out. Don't overthink certain things and just believe in the people that you have around you. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
If I have a world champion kickboxer telling me this is how you do things to kickbox, why the hell am I going to question you?
Exactly.
I'm going to do what you tell me to do.
Yeah.
So when I see you doing the work, it's fun to watch because this is how I was when I was fighting.
Yeah.
I was very competitive. I've trained a lot out of fear. I never wanted to lose. I didn't want to embarrass my coaches or myself or the people around me.
Yeah.
Right? That'd be the worst thing to do, to get knocked down in front of, hundreds or thousands of people. That would just be embarrassing.
Sure. I think another biggest part of this is, like, you need to be coachable, Like,
100%.
If you're not coachable, like, good luck getting anywhere far in your career.
Yeah.
If you don't listen to anything your coaches say, like, you're fucked at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think that I've had multiple people, and it'll remain nameless, we all don't need to know, but in multiple organizations, from overseas to big events such as Bellator and UFC. I've coached fighters all over. And man, either they don't want a fat guy telling them what to do, or they just don't believe you. And even when I would show them, it would still be this, oh, well, I like this, or I don't feel comfortable doing it this way. Well, obviously you don't feel comfortable doing it this way because you've been doing it wrong the whole time, or you've just never used this specific tool. So now let's work on this tool so it now becomes a strength versus a liability, right? Instead of being a weakness, it can become a strength. And if you focus a lot on your weaknesses, then you have less weaknesses. You have less exposure.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So as a forward style fighter, when I first started, I sucked moving backwards. Mm-hmm. I had to learn how to fight moving backwards. Yeah. Because for my weight class, 300 plus pounds, and I'm 6 foot, but most guys I'm fighting are 6'5", 6'8", 400 plus pounds. They're going to pressure me. I can't always be the forward guy. Yeah. So you have to learn how to do all of it, because if I used my ego and only fought forward, I would have lost.
Yeah.
So you have to take some things out, and I think a lot of things today, and I'm sure there was stuff back in the day too, but I wasn't around them. But for my era, with the guys that I trained with, everyone was coachable. If we had someone talking, you had, and I mean like the top level guys at that time, being around Alon Goez and Maurice Smith, myself, Marco Huas, and Reese Andy. Like, there's a lot of guys around us, and Adam Lynn and Alex Surgikov, Jeremy Williams, like big name, good fighters, And I mean, if someone was teaching a technique, everyone's like this, like, eyes this big, focus, like, no, go back. Why would that step do this? Like, everyone's so interested to know because it could be such a detrimental thing when you're in the ring, you know?
Yeah.
And now it's like, even I'm coaching and I'll watch people like, it's like their ADD kicks in. Like, they just got to go be focused on something else.
It's
like,
so weird.
Like, what the hell? Like, dude, focus, because you're about to get punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
So this isn't play. This isn't, you know, yeah, we get to have fun here in the gym, like teaching classes, and you learn and don't have to worry about fighting. But some of the guys who have aspirations or say they have aspirations of fighting don't pay enough attention and don't practice enough.
I agree.
And then you watch them get their ass whooped because they only stick to the one or two things that they like, that are they're comfortable with. So coachable is a huge piece of fighting.
Yeah, for sure. And I think another thing is like, you can't just stick to doing one thing, like at the gym. Like, coming to Thai class at night is only one thing. You're doing the bare minimum. If you're saying you want to go out and do greatness, you got to do more than that. You got to study. Yeah. You know, you got to do stuff outside of the gym that you don't want to do. You got to do it. Like, it doesn't matter, you know. It's why I'm always constantly doing other things outside of the gym.
Yeah.
I need to do better, you know. We get one class and it's at night with you.
Yeah.
You know, you're giving us your full attention, but the rest of the day I have to do stuff on my own to get in better shape. I got to eat clean. I got to sleep well. You know, I got to feel right. And I think that plays a really big role in, like, becoming a good fighter. Like studying.
1,000% agree.
Yeah.
Like, the first guy that ever taught me how to watch film was Chris Dino. We're going to drop a little plug here. OC Crowd Care. If y'all need that, my boy owns that place now. But back in the day, he was a coach and a training partner and someone who helped me out a lot. But he was the first person I'll never forget as a student. He was the first coach I ever had that, like, hung out with me after hours. So I was, like, super excited. Like, oh, man, he invited me over to his place. And he played in bands and stuff. So it was super cool. And we get to the house and I'm expecting, like, you know, him play music or while out. Nope. Went straight to the computer, pulled up some fights, and he was showing me guys to study and, you know, first introduced me to Buakaw and Iron Mike Zambidi, and then he was just showing me, like, you know, these fighters and how they fought and different styles, and I was like, my mind was blown because my world was only what I knew in the gym. I didn't even think about, you know, studying people because I used to watch K1, but it was always heavyweight guys, and I only knew about, you know, I never even thought about watching lightweights. Like, why would I watch that?
Yeah.
And then there's something you could pick up from every kind of fighter, whether it's how they used offense or defense or something.
For sure.
So studying film is a huge piece. You know, your strength conditioning is a huge piece. Your cardio is a huge piece. Like, fighting is, I would say, and you might disagree, and some people might disagree with me, but I would say fighting's probably a solid 75 to 80% mental.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't believe in all of the cardio and strength conditioning that you did, or you didn't put in the amount of work, you're going to second guess, you're going to question your output, you're going to hesitate, and when you hesitate, you get hit. Right? So if you're not mentally there with the amount of work you're putting in, I don't think you're going to be ready for the fight mentally.
No.
Right? And I think there's some prime examples of that when you watch in fighting, like great guys. When Anderson fought Shale the first time, he mentally was not there.
Yeah.
Right? Had a busted rib, was hurt, was training camp, fights got canceled, was in camp for extra amounts of months. Grandma passed away, didn't get to see his family, just went into it, head not right.
Yeah.
You know, and barely pulled out a win in the end, which was awesome. But then has a rematch with the dude fights over in the first, second round. Like, just real quick, like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I think your headspace is a huge piece.
For sure. I think that's another big role is, like, only you can know if you train hard enough for a fight. For, like, me, like, I only know if I train hard enough for a jiu-jitsu tournament coming up, you know? And, like, remember last year when we were always working with Tristan in the morning?
Yeah.
I was constantly preparing for a fight. I didn't think I was going to fight at all last year, but I stayed in shape at all. If you were ever going to ask me to fight, I was ready.
Yeah.
Like, every day was a fight camp for me. I'm constantly eating clean. I was not drinking. I'm not doing anything stupid. I'm getting enough sleep. I'm up here in the morning, you know, and I'm working out. I'm working really hard. I'm constantly doing these things throughout my day. And you asked me to fight, and I was ready. I was in shape. No, I wasn't out of shape. I have a lot to work on.
And you didn't 3 rounds and smoked the dude We didn't even have to take your mouthpiece out. You weren't tired at all.
Yeah, I know, right? And like, I felt good because I felt like I stayed disciplined. Like, a lot of people, I'm sure, will tell you, or like their coaches, like, oh, I'm gonna do this, this, and this. They probably didn't do it. Like, times come to fight, and they're thinking to themselves like, I didn't work hard enough, or like, you know, like, I'm out of shape. I didn't do this, this, this. Like, it happens. So, headspace is also really big and a part of fighting, and I don't think a lot of people realize that. And I'm starting to realize that as I'm getting older. It's like a whole different game than what I thought when I first started training 4 years ago, you know?
Yeah.
It's like there's so much to it that a lot of people outside spectating wouldn't understand or
Facts.
don't see at all.
Right.
Not at all. Like, you would just be like, I never thought that happened, you know? Like, there's so much stuff. You just can't explain all of it, you know?
Injuries.
Yeah.
Training while injured.
Yeah.
All that stuff. 100%.
Frustration, like everything. It's just, fighting's such a crazy thing to me. Like, you might just see it from an outside like standpoint, like it's just fighting, but like there's so much to it. There's so much thinking. There's so much to it that like you could just go on and on and on about. And I think that's what's great about the sport. I love the sport, man.
Yeah.
I hope I go far one day.
It's
you know?
like for me, it's a physical chess match.
Yeah.
Right. It's so much thinking. Every movement has a counter movement, and every counter movement has a counter movement to that. A lot of it comes down to timing, right? So, how do you beat power, you know, with speed? How do you beat speed with timing?
Yeah.
There's a lot of these little things, right? And we all know them. All the fighters know them. I mean, good fighters know them. So, it's either one, are you going to pull the trigger? Do you believe you have the power, the speed, the mental fortitude to do so? Did you train hard enough? Can you stay on the gas pedal that long?
Yeah.
Are you durable enough? Are you tough enough? Do you believe in your being durable, right? Because that's a big piece too, which is when you watch guys get knocked out, that word durable, they come back and they're just not either one, not durable enough, or they panic under pressure now. They have a fear of throwing because they don't want to be open. So you see a lot of stuff, but again, it comes down to the mental. So fighting is a crazy thing, and there's a lot of pieces to it, man.
Yeah.
A lot of pieces. You know, the footwork. I mean, there's so many intricate pieces that people will never see, which is super fun because growing up, you know, I'm a big guy and I studied and studied and studied and studied and practiced and practiced and practiced for hours a day.
Yeah.
That I got really good, right? And I'm for those of you who don't know me, I'm a pretty modest guy. I suck at a lot of things, right? But Thai boxing is one of the things I'm very, 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 very good at. And, you know, I would have people on the outside coaching other fighters against me, and I would hear them say that I'm a lazy fighter or they figured me out, blah, blah, blah. But then when it was their turn to come in the ring and show me, they couldn't show me. They sucked. Damn. But they're not seeing the feet, right? Which a lot of fighting is, it's all about the feet, right? Where your footwork is, where your movements are, toes, heel, you know. There's so many pieces, and when it was their turn to come show me how lazy or slow or different things that I was, they couldn't do it because it wasn't about that. It's the invisible piece of fighting that they couldn't see that I was doing. Yeah. But that was their lack of experience, right? And it was pretty cool to watch, which is one of my favorite things to see, is to see people's mind be blown. Like, what the fuck? What was that? Right? Whether it's when I'm coaching, when I'm fighting, when I'm sparring, whatever, it's fun to watch people's mind be blown. You know what I mean? Yeah. With either something you pulled off or a technique, or, you know what I mean? Or you make them miss a certain way. They're just, what the hell did you do that? Yeah. Like that's fun stuff to me. Yeah.
And it all comes from being dedicated. Yeah. It's the only way it's going to come. It's not going to come twice a week or 2 times in 1 week, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's going to come from doing something every day.
Yeah. So here's one. When you're fighting, like for me personally, people think I love a knockout. And knockouts are cool. They are fun, right? Because they're crowd pleasers. But part of fighting is ego. You have to have ego to do this, right? I'm a huge, like, you have to be extremely confident. And sure. I challenge, right? I'm an introvert and I'm shy and I'm scared before I fight and all that stuff. So it's nerve wracking, like for sure. But the other half of me is the ego driven. I can win. Come watch me rule the world, right? So for me personally, it's not the knockout that I love when I fight. For me, I love watching the person in front of me break.
Yeah.
I love watching their eyes question. You can read a person really well. And you just see this person start questioning everything they do. Their eyes get real wide because at first they're killers. And then once they can't hit you, you start hitting them. All of a sudden you see, oh shit. And now they're fighting to not lose. They're not fighting to win anymore.
The whole game plan.
Right. Everything just
out the window.
Yeah, and then you see them stop throwing. Their output changes.
Yeah.
Their power changes because they don't want to be aggressive anymore because they're afraid to overextend.
Yeah.
That to me is the ultimate pleasure. That's like,
I agree.
that to me is as good as sex.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I would just, fuck man, I love watching motherfuckers in front of me. Just like, oh my God.
So satisfying.
Especially because they're big, manly men who you have to respect because they had the balls to get in the ring and fight in the first place, right? Which 99% of people don't have the balls to do. So I respect the person for having that willingness and mental fortitude to get in the ring and challenge me, right? I appreciate it and I respect it. But as bad as you think you are, I want to watch you break.
Yeah.
Right? That's my get off, you know?
So satisfying.
Do you prefer like that? So for you, you have more experience in jiu-jitsu, right? Do you prefer submitting someone or do you watching them crumble in front of you pre-submission?
Honestly,
Like I did jiu-jitsu for a lot of years, so I felt guys come in really strong.
Yeah.
They're animals, right? Like for example, they'd be a lion when they're on top.
Yeah.
But as soon as you put them on their back, all of a sudden they're a pussycat.
I can feel it, yeah.
Yeah, you feel them. Oh man, I lost.
Like I said, you know, like my last tournament at the San Clemente High School, the one you went to, I know all three of those guys hated rolling with me. Like they just didn't like it. They couldn't do anything. I shut them down. I got taken down. It's whatever. I submitted them easily, you know? Like, it's the game I've created. Like, my own game.
Yeah,
like,
but like at one point when I was watching this tournament, this dude tried to get you in some weird position. It didn't work, and you literally just laid there like this. Like, literally just kind of stalling him out, just laughing at him, and it was kind of like, wait, this kid's supposed to be big and strong. He's from a really good gym, right? You respected him, which was cool. You understood he was from a good gym.
Yeah.
So you were sharp, but it was just like, you ain't gonna do nothing.
Once I shake your hand, man, I feel you. I know. Like, automatically, when I touch your hand, I already know how it's gonna go. And that's just from training so much. I don't know where that came from. Like, I never thought I'd even have that skill. When I shake your hand and we go, I know I'm gonna finish you. Like, you're not gonna finish me. You're not gonna embarrass me in front of everybody. I'm not going home angry. I'm going home with the win. You know, and like, I'm gonna get caught, you know? I'm not the greatest. I'm still an amateur, you know? But I refuse to lose when I know I'm going to beat all competition.
Yeah.
Like, all the competition here in California, I'm going to win. Like, I don't think anyone else is working harder than me right now. That's my age.
That's a huge piece.
Yeah.
Right? Being confident in what you do.
That's in my level of, like, competition right now. Like, I think I can just go out to these tournaments and break everybody. Like, no problem. There's, like, of course, like, there's going to be tough fighters. Like, at Naga, I got taken down. And, like, I lost. I didn't submit the guy. Like, there's going to be people I'm going to come across that were really good. But when I do learn, I learn super quickly from matches like that. Like, if
from
I
your
lost,
mistakes.
I go straight home and I just figure out the whole day, what did I do wrong? Was my foot too close to him? Am I too close for a takedown? Like, what is it that I'm doing wrong? You know, like, all this stuff. And I'm writing it down and I'm studying and I make sure that never happens to me again.
Yeah.
I can't let that happen twice.
Yeah.
I'm learning from it instantly. And that's why I think people are afraid to go out and try new stuff like that, because I think they're just, obviously I hate losing. I'm sure everyone hates losing. But losing is such a big learning experience.
Yeah.
And nobody understands that. Like, it is so good for you. I, like, will learn so quickly from losing. Like, I'm pissed off, like, yeah, you know, but I just think about, like, what did I do wrong? You know, like, what's going wrong? And I write it down and I study, and I make sure it never happens again. And that's another piece of building my game. So, like, going out to tournaments, I love submitting everybody. And, like, everybody around here, like, at these jiu-jitsu tournaments, I'm pretty sure they know who I am, because I'm the guy who always triangles and arm bars. And everyone knows I'm going to triangle and arm bar them, and I get it. Like, I'm sure, like, the coach would tell, like, one of their students, like, hey, this guy's going to pull guard. He's going to put you in a triangle, make sure your head's up, make sure your elbows are in. I'm still going to get you. I don't care. Like, you think that's going to stop? No. I train this shit all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm literally, the workout pyramid that I'm doing is literally for grappling. My upper body strength is impeccable right now. I've never felt this strong in my life. Like, I'm going to get your arm. I'm going to take it home with me. I'm going to put it up above my fireplace. You know what I mean? That's the shit I'm going to do. But back to the question of, like, watching somebody break instead of a knockout. For all you Colby Covington haters out there, you can eat a dick. Dude, if you watch the fight with Robbie Lawler, that guy, Colby Covington breaks him down, like, into pieces for 5 rounds. It's ridiculous. Robbie Lawler was going to knock him out. He was supposed to knock him out. He's supposed to just run through Colby. Colby put on a pace that Robbie Lawler could not keep up with for 25 minutes straight. He took him down whenever he wanted. He threw him around whenever he wanted. He controlled them the whole fight. Robbie Lawler could not land a punch. Not even a good one. Like, nothing. Colby Covington controlled him. He broke his spirit, and he took it.
So Kobe won that fight.
Yep, he won that fight.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Seeing stuff like that is so entertaining. If you love to watch a knockout, yeah, it's great and all. From an outside, like, point of view, like, somebody who just loves to watch fights, no. When someone trains super hard for a fight, like, so hard, they have this hard fight camp, and then for their opponent to just completely bulldoze them for 25 minutes straight, that is so, like...
disheartening.
Yeah. It's so, like, soul-crushing. It's horrible. I couldn't imagine what Robbie Lawler felt like. But could you imagine what Colby Covington felt like?
I mean, if I'm being dead ass with you, I've never felt like what Robbie felt like. Maybe in practice, because we would do these suicide rounds where it'd be, you'd have like 5 or 6 fresh guys, and every single minute a fresh guy goes with you. So you literally are drowning. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't. You start fighting to win, and after like the 10th round, you're fighting just not to die, right? You're trying to survive. So maybe in that I felt what he was like, because you just physically are, you can't go no more, right? Yeah. In an actual fight under the light, when it's fair, me versus you, for your 3 or 4 rounds, no, I've never felt like what Robbie's like. I've always been to Kobe, right?
Yeah.
You know.
I never want to feel that way.
Yeah.
Ever. I never want to look that way. Ever. I want to be the guy to do that to you.
Yeah.
I want you to go back to the locker room, and I want you to think long and hard about what you're doing wrong with your training.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything wrong. I'm just better than you. That's all it is.
And you know what's funny, though? As a fighter, and I tell my students this all the time, that's totally okay. Mm-hmm. If you go out and you lose because you quit on yourself or you didn't do the work, you have to live with that regret. Yeah. You know you didn't put in the work. Yeah. And that's going to haunt you more than anything. It's not the loss that haunts you. It's you giving up on yourself and you not giving yourself a fair opportunity to be successful that haunts you.
Yeah.
But if my fighter loses because the guy was just better, not because he gassed or he quit, the guy just had better timing, better defense, better offense, right? That's fine. That's a learning thing. We can continue to fix that. That's easy.
Yeah.
You know? So there's no shame in that because people are better.
Yeah.
There's always somebody better. I know there's somebody better than me. I don't ever want to believe it. In my head, I'm always the best.
Exactly.
At least when I'm fighting, that's
the right ego. That's why you're a fighter.
I had to believe this, you know? And when I fought, I did. The first few times I fought, I didn't.
Yeah.
I won, but I didn't. I was always so scared. Then you start to really put in the work and train with these great people, blah, blah, blah. And, the better you get, the bigger your head gets. Your ego's, no one can beat me. I'm the king of the world, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Till Father Time stepped in and kind of slapped me in the face and was like, nah, not me.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy, by the way. Don't get old. Stay young. But no, when I was fighting, I had a great time, you know, minus the mental piece.
It's so great, man. Like, these small wins, even at like jiu-jitsu tournaments, man, it feels so good. Just like you just know to yourself.
Because the fruits of your labor, it's you put in the work,
yeah,
and now you see everything you did.
Yeah.
Which I think why martial arts is so important for kids and people, even adults. Like, we live in this clown world society now where, you get participation trophies, which I don't believe in. I'm sorry if you do, but I don't. I think it's vital for kids to lose. I think it's vital for them to understand you can win and you can lose, because that's the real world. If 10 of us go for a job interview and there's only 2 openings, right? You don't get a participation check. You don't get paid for coming in.
Yeah.
It's like, sorry, bitch, you're not getting the job.
Not how it works.
Next, right? And you win and you lose. This is life.
Yeah.
Right? And learning how to overcome adversity like that, it helps make life easier, right? Because life is a series of ups and downs and highs and lows. Life is beautiful, wonderful, amazing, horrible, tragic, happy, sad. It's all of it, right? That's the life experience. We're not meant to be happy every day, all day, I don't think.
No.
So I think martial arts gives you that, you work so hard, you break yourself in training, so you have to tell yourself to keep doing it, which is mental fortitude, right? You have to, no one's going to get you up out of bed in the morning.
No.
You know what I mean? That you have to do it.
Exactly.
So I think that's a huge piece that is good. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to go to the gym today, but you continue to do the work.
You have to do it.
And if you do it, you see the fruits of those, of the labor when you go out and you win.
Yeah.
It's easier that way. So I think martial arts is a huge piece for people, adults, kids, just huge.
This gym saved my life because when I was like 15, dude, I was an idiot. Like 15 years old. Like, you probably would have never imagined. Like, I was just an absolute idiot. And like, it got to the point where like I had this stupid girlfriend, this crazy ass bitch girlfriend. And like, I was doing Xanax a lot at 15 years old. And like, I think about it now and I'm just like, dude, like, what was I doing? And like,
you follow this role of what people think is popular and trendy, and it makes you fit in. And
it does.
Like, I understand all that stuff, which is, again, why martial arts is such a huge piece, because you meet so many people from different walks of life, and then there's other things out there aside this little, I want to be popular in this little thing, of either school or your collective or your little group or what people see on social media.
Yeah. And, if you saw a photo of me at 15 years old, you'd be like, dude, this kid is on drugs. Like, I look at my photos of Christmas, like, throughout the years of, like, my sophomore year and junior year, and I'm just like, man, like, I look so unhealthy. Like, just look like shit, like, at 15, 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I wanted to start training. I've always wanted to start training, but I just never did it. And, I got my first pair of gloves, and I started training. And, like, instantly, this, like, rush came to me. This obsessed rush. And I don't know where it is, or I don't know where it came from. Like, I didn't know I had it in me. Like, seeing myself 5 years ago, I never would have thought I would see myself here today. And I say that all the time. Mm-hmm. I am a completely different human being. I got this crazy addiction to this sport. I got so addicted to it so heavily. I don't know what it was. It was like a drug.
You fell in love with it.
I fell in love with it. Like, this is better than any pussy, anything in the world.
Yeah.
This is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. And ever since the first day I started training, I swore I would never do anything stupid ever again. Back in my, like, young teenage years, I'm over that. I don't care. Like, yeah, I go and have fun with friends. But victory's forever. And, like, partying here, right now, at this age, should be a super small part of my life. And the rest should be victory. Mm-hmm. The rest is going to be discipline and hard work. And when I'm, retired, I want to be able to party with my own money, my hard-earned money, and mm-hmm. not have to worry about a thing in life ever again, Not now. It doesn't matter now. Like, sure, have fun, live your life, but I don't think people understand that all the people that are partying right now using mommy and daddy's money when I could use my money, buy my yacht or whatever, go do crazy things that I never thought I'd be able to do.
Yeah.
Because I earned it. But
this will be a fun thing to look back to in a couple of years to see how successful you become and the changes you make in your life. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when we revisit this, the next video will be, X amount of wins worth X amount. Video after that, this amount of wins, this amount. You know what I mean? It's going to be pretty cool.
Crazy,
It'll
man.
be stages. It'll be fun. It's going to be a wild ride, man. So.
Why did you want to start fighting?
Me?
Yeah.
Sheesh. If I'm dead ass, I was a pussy. And I've had my friends be like, no way, Frank, not you. Because I put up this tough persona. Yeah. But, like, you're the one that does the training, so you know if you're ready or not. You know if you're afraid or not. You could pretend not to be.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of fighters do that. But I was scared before I went to the ring. I was scared walking to the ring. My first fight, I was making excuses in my head. I was like, I could trip and fall. I could pretend to have a heart attack. I could say my grandma's calling. You know what I mean? I didn't want to go. I did it, but I was scared.
Yeah.
You know? For me, I think it was facing my fear. Like, I'm afraid of heights, so I know at some point I'm going to have to skydive. I was afraid of guns, so I had a friend of mine teach me and show me how to use them and, face them, right? So fighting was the same. I was so afraid of it. I didn't want to be in fights. And then I ended up defending a friend, got in my first big street fight. I won. It was super awesome. Everyone loved me for it. And then a couple of weeks later, got followed home, got jumped by a bunch of dudes, and got the shit kicked out of me. And then after that, I was a hermit, man. I didn't want to go anywhere,
Yeah.
So I put on a bunch of weight. I was unhealthy. I didn't want to do anything. And then it got to the point where I was trying to wash my car, and I couldn't even wash it because my back hurt. Like, just from washing my car, I was like, oh, fuck. I got to get in shape. I got to lose weight. There's a whole bunch of stuff I have to do. And I love fighting. I love watching on TV. It was cool. Like K1, like old school K1.
Yeah.
So I went to a bunch of gyms, and all I found was jiu-jitsu studios at the time. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to learn how to head kick someone. Like, this would be so cool. And mind you, I was not flexible at the time, like, at all. I found a place, and this is 20-some years ago. And I remember the guy at the counter, Mike, rest in peace, my dude. He's at the counter, and he's like, you ready to sign up, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I got to go talk to my old lady and see if she's cool with it. I was dating someone at the time. And he's like, what? If you leave here, you're not coming back. You know what I mean? He's like, you're going to let her tell you what to do? And I was like, man, I just got to go check. He's like, yeah, right. If you don't sign up, you pussy, you're not coming back. The fight. And he's cussing at me. And I'm like, if we did that in today's world, like, yeah, never.
Someone will start breaking down crying and change the color of their hair.
Yeah, no. This guy was losing it. And I was like, all right, well, okay, man, I'll sign up. Yeah, I could do it. So I signed up. And my first class, I walked in, saw girls kicking the bag, like, what the hell? These chicks were beating the dog crap out of the bag. And I walked out. I didn't even do a class.
Dude.
The next day, went back. I did like 15 minutes of class before I was on the ground about to die. And I did that for the first few weeks. Then I did a half-hour class. Then I did a full-hour class. Then a couple of classes. Then I started becoming obsessed. I was your typical tool, I got there, I wrapped my hand, the coach wrapped my hands, and I would leave with my hands wrapped, I was all tough driving home like I was the shit. Wear my fight shirts everywhere because, I felt tough doing it, even though I'd never fought yet. It just made me feel good.
Yeah.
Right? It felt good to know I was doing something
of course,
to better myself, and like that would actually make me feel tougher.
Of course.
And then I started sparring, and, some certain things happened in my personal life, and I didn't know how to deal with them, so I just drowned myself in the gym. It went from 1 or 2 classes a day to, like, I'd go in the morning, I'd go at night, and I'd be there for hours at a time. And they caught me at a bad day, and they caught me. They're like, hey, man, you need to fight, Frank. You should fight. You're a big dude. You move fast. And I was like, no. I would always say no. They always asked me to fight. I'd always say no. And finally, they asked me, and I had a bad day. I was like, yeah, bro, sign me up. I'll do that shit. And as soon as I got home, I was like, what the hell did I get myself into? I knew I always wanted to do it because I wanted to challenge myself, because that was the goal, signing up, right? But I was scared because now it's coming to here. Now it's really here. So me and my boy Josh Roper was cracking. He came with me to the fight, and it was just me and him there in the beginning for a rules meeting at 5 o'clock. And we're watching these guys get in there. This guy's hitting pads. And I never forget, he was doing these jump kicks. and the person training him is Jason Bress. At the time that I went, I didn't have a coach. I was by myself.
Yeah.
So just me and my friend Josh went. And we're watching this guy hit pads. Jason Bress is holding pads for this guy named Mark. Mark, what up? Him and I are good friends now. But at the time, I never met him. He's doing these jump kicks, tie shorts, tattooed. He's all swole. I was like, yo, bro, whoever that guy's fighting, he's going to kill somebody. Yeah. That guy's hitting them pads like a mother. Right? And my boy Josh is like, yeah, fuck that. And we go back, we get the rules meet, and they look, and they're like, all right, Frank, you're fighting this guy over here. And I was like, what? No. I got to fight the scary guy? Like, I was hoping I was going to get some jalopy. I've never fought before. Why I got to fight that guy? You know? And he's got the whole thing out, and I'm broke-ass little Mexican, and I'm in a T-shirt with a pocket in it and some basketball shorts. Like, these guys are all fight geared out. I didn't even have gloves. They opened a pair of gloves from their cabinet and let me borrow them because I didn't even have it. So I'm scared to death sitting in the back, and I don't go on till about 11 p.m. I'm there all night long, like from 5 to 11, like forever. And I'm just nervous. I'm trying to make excuses of why I shouldn't be there, you know. And my buddy Dan, we call him Jesus, showed up, and my boy Gizzy. So I had 3 of my homies there, and I remember I didn't have a corner. I had no one there. I was by myself. Yeah. And that was the first time I ever met Alon Goaz. And Alon was like, he recognized my face from the gym. He's like, you're fighting? And I said, yeah. And he looked to my boy, who became my boy, Matt Buechler. What's up, Matt? Alon told him, hey, go corner this kid. And Matt's like 6'5", 260. Like, he literally looks like what a guy should be if you're someone at the front of a Viking ship. Yeah. That's the guy with a battle axe. That's what he looks like. And he's a little hammered. So we walk out to the ring. I'm scared to death. I get in there, and I'm looking across the ring, and I was like, oh, my God. This guy's going to kill me. And bell rings. I walk forward, and within the first, 30 seconds, he hits me with the cleanest Superman punch. Boom. And all of my fear, everything that I was feeling, went away. Because in my head, it was like, you just landed a perfect punch, clean, at 100% energy. Yeah. Right? You're not tired yet. And I didn't block it. And I didn't feel anything. Yeah. Oh, you're so fucked.
You're so fucked.
And then it was just like fucking hammer, put the floor gas pedal down. I started going. We start hitting and just going back and forth for a little while. And then I go back to the corner. And your corner usually has a stool. They sit you down, some ice, talk to you, tell you what to do, what they're doing, blah, blah, blah. Right? It's another set of eyes. Yeah. Unfortunately for Matt, he was a little twisted by this point. So my dude is standing there leaning on me as I stand in the corner dying. I'm the one that's tired. And he's like, all right, bro, here's what I need you to do. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great. When I say 30 seconds, press forward. Don't let him steal the round. And I was like, okay. So I just do me. And I'm going. And I had a knockdown. I think it was more of I kicked him. There was a kick knockdown, I know for sure, the stomach. The other one might have been like he was tired and we were swinging and it was kind of, he fell. But there was 2 knockdowns, and I remember in the 3rd round, bro, we started, he threw a punch and it landed, and like I just shook my head like, oh yeah, let's get it. And we both moved forward. It was the sloppiest, shittiest technical fight for me by like a long shot. But I was just swinging, and I stayed in the pocket and was just swinging back and forth. Yeah. And he's swinging back and forth. People were screaming, jumping up on top of shit, standing in their chairs. It was going ballistic. It was absolutely awesome, right? Yeah. You just hear these people losing it. And at the end, it was a clear, unanimous, I won. And that was probably the greatest feeling I ever had, to look down. And then my parents, I lived a lot with my grandfather and my grandparents and my mom and dad, but we had issues growing up and whatever, long story short. My parents showed up. My dad hadn't smoked they didn't come in. They didn't get tickets to come inside. They watched from outside because you could see from the glass outside. The window. So they didn't come in, but my dad hadn't smoked in years, and I think they said he smoked probably a pack that day outside. Just they were freaking out, Okay. And then they said my mom couldn't watch. She was hiding behind my dad every time, and then when I would do good, she would look, and if I got hit, she'd look away. They never. I don't think they came to anymore. My mom might have came to one of my last exhibition, I think, with my cousin Nick. But outside of that, yeah, it was hard for them to watch. But for me, it was such a rad, personal feeling. We went to, when you're poor, and you go out to eat. For us, like Denny's was like the creme de la creme.
Yeah.
So we went to Denny's afterwards, like some of the family, and
cool.
friends. And we're sitting at the table. My legs are doing this. I couldn't stop moving my legs. I was like, I started doing this shit in my chair. I was like, I got up and bolted out the door and just took off sprinting down the street. And I'm like, where the fuck do you go? And I was so hyped that I won. And I was so, like, proud of myself. I've never felt like that. Like,
it's a
never.
different feeling, man.
I didn't know. I just had so much extra energy. Even though I was tired from the fight, I was gone,
Yeah.
And then I came back and I was like, oh, it was like a release of endorphins. I don't know. I had to get it out.
Yeah.
And from that point forward, it was just something I loved. I loved the attention I got. I loved how powerful I felt. I loved, like, as small as a venue as it was, you're talking, less than 1,000 people. It's still, it was my moment. It was my shine. And it felt like the grandest of stages to me, because I would never do something like that, right? Any of my friends who saw me, like, wait, Frank fights? Yeah, bullshit. No way. It was just such a rad feeling that I never looked back. And any fight after that, it was cool, but I love, like, the gym wars we had back in the day. Like, other gyms would come, right? Or other schools would challenge you because they thought their school was better. Yeah. And guys would come into the gym or
settle that shit.
Because we didn't have a lot of online stuff. We didn't have all that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Facebook was becoming a thing, but it really wasn't a thing. We had MySpace back in the day, but that, again, wasn't anything to, like, today. You had to write your own code and shit. Like,
it's hard to spread shit.
You know what I mean? So back then it was a lot of they heard about you.
Yeah.
Oh, you heard about this guy? He's fucking everybody up. Or did you hear about this guy? Did you hear about this guy? Oh, you're the guy. Like, I remember 2 fights I had specifically. I got there. The guy saw me. I was like, wait, you're Frankie? And I was like, yeah. Nice to meet you, bro. He's like, oh, hey, man, I'm not fighting you. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I didn't know I was fighting you. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? And he's like, no, I'm not doing that. I was like, okay. And I never thought I would know what that felt like, because I would never run from nobody.
Yeah.
And then I had a fight. I was, like, maybe training for a few years. So after I beat that guy, like, literally months later after I beat Mark, Jason started training at my gym. He was a coach there. Mm-hmm. And then he sparred with me and beat the dog shit out of me, and I think that was for beating his fighter. Thanks, buddy. I'll never forget it. But then he started coaching me and started working with me, getting better, blah, blah, blah. And there was a fight night coming, and he's like, hey, we're going to do this fight. I said, okay, cool, I'll do it. And I get there, the fighter doesn't show up. Or no, that's the guy who said he doesn't want to fight, blah, blah, blah. And so I have no fight, so I'm just going to sit down and watch, the rest of the fights.
Yeah.
Then I get approached. Hey, there's this boxer over here. He wants to fight. He doesn't have a fighter if you want to fight him. And I said, well, I'm a kickboxer, so I don't want to do it. And then they said, oh, you can kickbox and he'll box. And I was like, bet. Like, I got that. Every time he punches, I'm going to kick the dog shit out of him. Yeah. If he gets too close, I'm going to clinch him up. And I start to go change, walk in the bathroom, and Jason walks in behind me. I'm like, what the fuck? What do you want? Why are you so close to me right now? We're in the bathroom. And he's like, hey, man, you're not fighting that guy. I said, why? He said, because they're bullshit. He said, the guy's a pro. He's here for some tuner shit. And you're not ready for him, Frank. And I was like, hearing that in the moment, it kind of broke my heart a little bit, because in my head I was unbeatable, right? At least what you tell yourself. Yeah. But there are levels, right? And I was clearly not at that level. So I walked up to the dude, shook his hand, and said, hey, man, my coach says I can't do it. If you want to spar anytime, come down to the gym, right? I want to see how good you are. But as far as competition goes, he says I'm not there yet, so I got to wait. Yeah. And Jason told me, he said, Frank, if I didn't love you, I'd let you fight. Yeah. But because I love you, I'm not going to let you do it. Yeah. Which was super awesome.
It's good.
And, you just level up. Every training session, every new person that comes in, you learn from the hard way or, the fun way. But either way, you're learning. And yeah, I just got to build a really good career. I learned a lot. I never stopped studying. I go to seminars. I still go to seminars today.
Learn a lot.
To better myself at my craft and at what I did, because I never wanted to lose. I never wanted to feel like that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're not ready for this guy, or you're not ready for that guy. Like, I never, ever want that to be a question. Like, we had a seminar here with Superbond and Pechenong, and they're probably the best Thai boxers on the planet at this specific time, specific time, right?
Yeah.
What's up, Bond? What's up, Pech? And I asked them if we're allowed to spar at the end of the seminar that we did, and they said, no, we don't like to spar because if we get hurt, we can't work. And I said, I totally understand that. At the end, he said, hey, I asked him, I said, what do you think of my students? Are they doing well in the seminar? He said, Frank, they're doing great. They understand very well. He's like, this is good teaching. And I said, cool, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. Right? Any words of affirmation, we always, especially as a coach or a fighter, you love to hear, like, you're doing a good job, right? We like that stuff. Yeah. So to hear from them that I'm doing a good job was nice. It's reassurance, right? Yeah. Reaffirming, I guess. And at the end, he said, hey, Frank, we'll do three people you want to spar. Well, I was like, for real? Bet. I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3. Because I number all my guys, which some coaches won't do because they're afraid of hurting people's feelings. I don't give a fuck. I number my people. So it was me, Ivan, and Logan, right? And then the girls were going to go with Petch. And me and Bond start going. And it's not about power, especially like if you watch Thai-style sparring, it's mental. It's the chess game. Yeah. You don't have to fight hard and spar hard because you're going to fight hard, right? Yeah. So sparring is about the mental piece. And him and I start going, and it was a good back and forth, and we had a great exchange, and it was super fun to do because I love working with brains. I like working with thinkers, guys who make you think, so on and so forth. And afterwards, he was like, wow, Frank, nobody is sparring. They just want to watch us. And I said, well, of course, they want to see what I'm going to do, because a lot of the kids I have now never got to see me fight. Yeah. They're all younger students who, have to hear stories, so they want to see. Yeah, they want to see. Yeah. So it was a super fun thing, and then afterwards, we're sitting in the back, the four of us, and Superbond complimented my boxing, said I was a good boxer, and it was just good things to hear. He was super impressed with what I was doing, and same thing, I was super impressed with what he was doing, because I have fought multiple world champions and been in the ring with a lot of guys who hold all these accolades when I don't believe they're as good as they say they are, but he is every ounce of as good, if not better, than he's given credit for. Yeah. He's extremely powerful. His mind works, how fast he is, his adjustments, which was super fun, right? Because a good striker, if you hit with them, it's going to happen. You're going to get hit. Like, this, no problem. Yeah. But a good striker makes adjustments. You're never going to hit him with the same setup or the same tool the same way again, right? Yeah. At least it shouldn't happen. Yeah. So I was watching him make the adjustments, and I was watching him watch me make the adjustments, which was super dope. Yeah, that's cool, man. So I love what I do. I love fighting, learning, and yeah.
You inspire a lot of people.
I try, bro. I try, because if I could do it, anyone could do it, because I sucked. I put my first fight on YouTube, by the way, so I'll put a link in the description. You guys can watch it, but it is absolute dog shit. It's super fun to watch because it's a lot of nuts, but my high kick is like waist level, right? It's like there's nothing fancy about it. But I do that so people can see, like, if I look that bad and started from that not knowing shit to where I am now, like, if I could do it, you could do it. There's no reason you can't do it. You just have to put one foot in front of the other and take the steps to do so. Yes, sir. And if you do that, you can be good. If you don't, then you won't. It's that simple.
Agreed, for sure, man.
So that's why I put it online. It's just, I don't mind embarrassing myself if it's going to help people be better.
Let me ask you, like, when one of your fighters is about to fight, what's going on in your head? Because you already know what's going on through,
a fighter's head.
Their head.
Yeah.
But what's going on through your head? Like, do you think to yourself, like, not just what you think about, like, when your fighter's about to fight, but, like, you don't have to say any names, but, like, do you ever think to yourself, like, this guy, like, he didn't train hard enough? Or do you think, like, are you thinking to yourself, like, fuck, man, like, he's he didn't work on this, like maybe he entered a fight too soon? Like, do you think about the flaws a lot, or do you think to yourself like, nah, my fighter's gonna be okay, like he's got this?
So I'm the guy that has a basic system, right? Your best defense is your best offense. So the way I coach my guys is, technique, accuracy, speed, power. Yeah. That's how I build a guy. Yeah. So based on that, I panic when I walk my guys to a ring, because in my head I know everything, right? I'm an encyclopedia of Thai boxing. So like, I'm fine, right? I believe in me and what I can do, but now, did I teach them enough? Did I show them enough? Are they ready for what this guy's gonna bring? Because in amateurs, I can't teach you everything. It's impossible. Yeah. Right? This is your first fight. So I won't let a fighter fight unless I believe that he is ready, right? Technically, right? Now you got to put in the work too. And if you don't put in the work, I won't sign you up. No. Right? Some guys can work really hard and other guys work extremely hard. And some guys are just, hey, go home. You're going to hurt yourself. You need some rest. Like, I'll tell you sometimes, like, hey, go home, ice your shins, stop kickboxing today, take a rest on your legs, just box tomorrow. Yeah. You know what I mean? Things like that. But I think I've never had a fighter that I've took who I've questioned, like, physically or like technically. I am worried for them, because anybody can make a mistake, like even me, So I don't want to see them make a mistake. Like, I had one fighter who, like I said, I'm not fighting anymore. Yeah. So a lot of my new students they listen because I'm coach, right? But I watch their eyes pay attention to the active fighter now. So like Logan and Ivan, even when Harvey was doing more. But when they see them training, they watch them train. They want to train with them because they know they have fights coming up, right? They're the linchpin. They're the one who is, I want to be like that guy, right? I get it. But that guy needs to be coached, right? I coach them. I train them. I teach them. They're there the way they are because of me, right? And them because they have to do the work, but they're learning in their techniques and so on and so forth. So one of my guys got to a point where he didn't like doing the classes and the Thai classes because he felt like, I'm not learning enough, or I'm above these guys. But it's not about that. It's about the repetition and doing the work that nobody else wants to do, and sometimes boring and mundane work. I can't tell you ask a boxer how many times he's thrown a jab. Like, fuck, he jabs every day. Like, he constantly trying to perfect the technique. So just because you got a technique down doesn't mean you perfected it. No. And there's always ways to get better or ways to set it up and la 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 la. So there's always ways to implement that in the training, but he wasn't doing that. He was in a place where he was content, and I could see it. Yeah. Where he was just kind of he thought he was good enough, right? This is what I was reading. Come fight time, and I saw other kids doing it. Other kids stopped coming to the Thai class. They started just hitting the bag like him, doing things like him. And I was like, okay. And then come fight time, he's ready. He should have, in my head, he could beat this guy 9 times out of 10. But this guy that he fought was first off, was a little fucking nuts and weird, which you have to be, but this guy was a little extra. And he got into my guy's head. And when he was fighting, my guy never lets people off the ropes, off the wall. If he has you pressured, you're fucked. And for some reason, this guy got in this guy's head enough to where when he had him on the ropes, he backed off. And when he backed off, the last 5 seconds of the round, he backed away, and the guy threw a kick. My kid went to block it, glanced off the glove, hit him right in the dome. He fell, and he got right back up. But in the amateurs, if you get knocked down like that, especially Thai boxing, and he was doing pro-am, so there's no shin pads, they stopped it. If he would have had a 10 count, it was the end of the round, we would have had another minute in the corner. He would have been fine, but they wouldn't do that. So they called the fight. He lost via knockout. And he was devastated. He was hurt. But he was so hurt that after he took some time off just to make sure he was fine, he came back, and first thing he did was right in Thai class. Yes, coach. What can I do? And right away, all of the students who were kind of following his track did the same exact thing. Right back into class. Yeah. Oh, shit. Yes, oh, shit. Even the best guys can get knocked out if you don't do the work or put in the work or have someone correcting. Like, if I'm working with a lesser guy and I keep dropping my right hand, right, as I throw a jab, I'm going to get caught with a left hook or a high kick, switch kick, right? If from a more experienced guy, just because you're not catching me with it doesn't mean I can't get caught with it. Yeah. So when your coach tells you keep your hand up, stop doing this, right? You make those adjustments. But if you don't have anyone correcting you, and you're only beating up people that are lesser than, it's not going to help you in the long run. Yeah. Right? You need to be challenged. You need to have someone telling you what to do. You don't need a bunch of yes men in this line.
I agree.
So for me, I don't let guys go who don't have what I think it takes. I will tell you, you're not ready. I don't mind that. And I've done it to quite a few people. That doesn't mean you can't lose technically, right? Because it happens. It's part of fighting. Yeah. People can be better or they can make a mistake. Yeah. But I am nervous because I know what it's like to win. I know what that feels like. Yeah. And I want everyone else to experience that. Mm-hmm. So I'm nervous and I'm scared because I don't want you to lose and have to go through that. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Like, I only had one loss, but it was a split decision, and I knew in my heart of hearts that I beat the fuck out this kid. Yeah. And he knew he lost. Like, he was on his knees hitting the ground because he knew he lost. Yeah. Right? So I didn't take offense to it. It was more like, really? Yeah. Okay. But to have to go through that loss I don't want to experience that. I don't want anyone else to have to experience that. Mm-hmm. It's much easier to experience winning and be, great. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I got my ass whooped in the gym for making mistakes, and I learned from my mistakes. Making mistakes and doing all that stuff, because you learn a lot from losing. Like when I lost a round or anything in the gym, I still think about it. To this day, when I'm training now, I still think, like, fuck, my foot was here, I should have done this, and if I would have pivoted like this could have happened. If I would have took a half inch back, I would have been fine. Like, all that stuff still goes through my head from sparring sessions, Yeah. Because I'm a perfectionist when it comes to this stuff. So, as much as I love training people, the fight process and watching guys fight, it's stressful for me, for sure. But I love the outcome. Yeah. I love when they get to win. Like, watching you win was awesome. Yeah. Like Harvey, watching him win his first fight, to be in the corner is the end of the second, going into the third. I'm looking at him, I was like, bro, your guy is gas. You remember the work you put in, all the miles and all the pain that you put in. And I'm staring at him like, floor it. Press this dude, don't let your foot off the gas. You have the cardio. Go. And he starts putting this pace in the last round, boy. And I'm literally watching him win this fight, and I couldn't even coach him anymore. I was trying to scream to him to what to do, and I couldn't. I was crying in the corner. I was like, and I had to tell Rudy, because Rudy was cornering with me, what to do. Tell him this, tell him that. And Rudy's looking at me like, what the hell? Because I was so happy for him, because Harvey's reason, everybody has a why for why they fight, but Harvey's why, in my opinion, is to challenge himself, to do something he never thought he would ever do. Yeah. And he was doing it. Like, he did it. Like, it was so cool to be a part of, to watch him change from such a shy, bashful, pussy-ass kid to this dude who's now putting himself in this crazy thing called fighting. You know what I mean? In this world of, like, just ego and rage and awesomeness and discipline and work. It was just really cool to see. Yeah.
It's awesome, man. Fighting is great. It truly is.
It's such a wild experience from, all of it.
For anybody that's watching and doesn't train or wants to train, just do it.
Yeah.
I promise you, you won't regret it at all.
Shameless plug, MMT Fitness, South OC, Avery in the 5. First class is free. We got you.
It's so funny, like, when I started training here, like, remember when I came in here all summer, that whole summer, I was here every day. I'd sleep here in the morning and then start training with Jaywalk and everybody. It's so funny because, like, I was so young and so new to this that I just wanted to be around you and everybody all the time. Like, whenever Jaywalk was here, I'd go in his office. Just hang out with him, you know? Like, and I'd love to work out with him. Whenever you were here, I'd hang out with you in your office just all the time. Whenever anyone else that I liked was here, just, like, follow people around. Like, it's so funny to think about like that. Like, I never thought I'd see myself on a podcast with you right now.
Yeah.
At all. It trips me out, you know? It's all because, you know, I'm just here all the time because we became family. And
you're dedicated to something.
Yeah, you know?
And we share a common bond because it's hard for people to understand. Like, how are you friends with someone you punch in the face? It's such a different type of bond and respect and admiration you have for someone who's doing the same thing you're doing, but they're willing to take on the pain and all the suffering that it takes to do it because it's fun. It's weird. It's a weird type of pleasure. It's hard to explain to people, and a lot of people don't understand. Like, right, I don't understand diving with sharks. I don't understand wanting to ride your bike like fucking 800,000 miles, and like that's exciting for you. Right? Like, we all look at things differently from different lenses depending on what it is we do, but there's something about fighting where it's not painful that way.
No.
It doesn't. Yeah, it sucks sometimes and it does hurt, but excuse me. It's such a joy. It's so fun to do. It does help when you're the hammer and not the nail, but it is still just. It's like poetry in motion. It's perfection.
Even when you're the nail, those are the days you're going to learn a lot. About
100%.
yourself and about, like, just so much. It's such a learning experience. Fuck being the nail. I would, like, seriously. Dude, fuck being the nail. I hate it so much. It's the worst feeling in the world. You literally feel like...
It feels like you're drowning.
It feels like you're drowning. Not just that. It feels like you suck.
Yeah.
It feels like you're not shit. Like, it feels like, dude, like, what the fuck? I shouldn't even fight anymore. Like, I suck. Like, fuck being the nail. But you're learning more than the guy who's the hammer. Like, you're learning way more if you alter your mind correctly and if you could think about what's going wrong. Like, you're going to feel like shit. It doesn't matter. But you still go in. You still train. You're the nail. He's the hammer. He's having a good day. But take from that day. I do that all the time. I literally had a shitty day. What was it? Was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Well, it was a Friday. I hated it. I wanted to leave. I was so pissed off. As soon as I wrapped my hands, I was already pissed off. I was like, dude, this day is going to suck. You can just feel it. But take away what went wrong. Like, controlling how you feel is such a big part of it, and I'm trying to master it myself. I'm trying to master my emotions.
It's a hard one, man. People have the hardest thing about fighting is because you're a fighter, a lot of people want to fight fire with fire.
Yeah.
And that's not always the best way, right? Like, your ego has to get checked at the door, right? That is just, if you're a better boxer, then I'm going to kick you. If you're a better kicker, then I'm going to box you. And if you're better at both, I'm going to clinch you. And if you're better at that, I'm going to try to fucking do all three of them at the same time to really mess you up, right? It's extremely difficult for a guy, especially a dominant or alpha or whatever you want to call it, to say, hey, this guy's better than you at this. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, fuck. But no, I want to show the world. Like, if somebody throws a really hard right kick, 9 times out of 10 when I'm watching somebody fight, I know another hard right kick is coming from the other guy. Like, because he just wants to do everything he did. It's a lot of mimicking, which is fucking retarded. Because if you see that, it's just a giant red sign going off to me. Like, I can beat the guy now. Like, because you see how he thinks.
Yeah.
If you can start to figure out how people think, now you really know how to beat them. You know? And that's a huge part. So it's just mind-blowing to me.
It is, man. It's crazy. It's super crazy.
But again, it goes back to the mental. Fighting is very mental.
Yeah, like, when I roll or when I spar here, I automatically assume the person I'm going against is better than me. I just assume it. I don't like just like, oh, I'm a pussy, like I suck, like this guy's just super good. I just assume it. So when I start like when we start going, when we touch gloves or when we shake hands, you know, like I read him, and then I'm like, okay, I start moving, you know, I start getting comfortable, and then I start to push the pace, and then I just know I'm gonna do better than him. But whenever like I've never rolled with somebody, I always automatically assume they're better than me at something. So I don't do something stupid. You know, I don't put myself in jeopardy at all. I try not to. I'm not even professional, you know. I'm still learning. I'm learning every day. Yeah. But like, it's just something I started doing, and it helps me a lot.
I still do something similar where if I don't know you, or even if I do, a lot of times for the first round or the first minute, I'm very cautious.
Yeah.
Right? I fight with a level of defense and acumen that's very respectful. Yeah. Right? I don't do any showboating. I'm very sharp because I don't want to make a mistake or I don't want to get caught. Right? Yeah. But once I kind of get timing and I kind of figure your rhythm and read you and watch you read me and so on and so forth, then I'll start exposing myself. Right? Yeah. I'll show you something like, oh, look, this opening's here. Let's see if you take it. And then I'll try to trap you and bait you with certain things. And depending on how you react to that and how I see you react, I'll know how to continue. And that's when you'll see my hands kind of drop, or me taunt people with my head, or I'll start lip singing while I'm fighting and people get really frustrated. And that frustration turns into stupidity because they start swinging wildly and then they just overextend and expose themselves. And then it's like a fucking snowball effect, right? They just keep fucking themselves the more angry they get. So, but I do the same. I'm very cautious. I assume I could make a mistake. Mm-hmm. So I'm super cautious in the beginning, which I think is a good way to go. Not a bad show for the first one. Yeah. Any other questions?
Not that I can think of, no.
Okay. Well, we'll have time to think because we'll do this many more times. And as we do it, guys, again, you'll see the room change. Leave a comment if you want something added. I've already had people who've just seen me building the place saying I need neon lines back here. I know. It's time. This was a lot of stuff that I've already had. I just didn't have the time to do it. And the space was being occupied. Now it's open, and we're using it. So
it looks good.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's pretty dope. It's pretty mild right now. Just kind of cozy, sit back, relax, and shoot the shit, which is what we're doing. Guys, also, my gym is MMT Fitness. My name is Frankie Mercado. This is Kolin. But I don't have a name for the show yet. So if you want to help me and leave me a name in the comments, if I choose the name that you say, I'll give you, 5 personal training sessions or a month free or something. Well, I don't know. We'll figure something out. But I'll hook you up. So leave me a comment of what do you think the podcast name should be. Should it be related to the gym? Because the only reason I don't really want to name it something close to the gym is because there will be controversial topics, whether it's political, not political, male, female, or whatever. I know there's going to be certain things that are going to upset people, so I don't really want to have it too much to do with the gym because the gym's separate, right? Yeah. I can be this and I can be that, and I can be this and I can be that. We all have multiple things about us. No one's perfect. So, but to get someone to think like that is not as easy as you think. So, yeah, I need a name for the podcast. I haven't come up with anything yet.
It's so goddamn early, I can't think of anything.
Yeah, me either. So, yeah. So with that, ladies and gents, we're out of here. It's been real. Yeah, thanks, dude. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, and there'll be more to come, guys. So with that, peace.
Later.